Hi there. So, um, the last ever scene that we left off was when Sky and the spirit of Crow started talking with each other in Sky's dream, is where we left off. But before that, I want to say that, like, I feel like no matter I feel like no matter what we talk in these videos about the storyline and stuff, I'm writing a book about it, right? And when I started writing a book about it, I realized that when you're writing a book, like you can just slowly think about what to do. You can just slow down everything and just think about the whole world, which is what I like. So the experience of writing a book and then an experience of just thinking about the story is very different. And when I do the videos, I'm basically just thinking about it, thinking about the story. And I feel like that's also good because that's kind of letting me know of what kind of scenes could take place. But I feel like these videos aren't going to affect the story, aren't going to really contribute to the story that much. It's just going to give me the vibes, and then with those vibes, I'm going to basically write the book. But at least in the future, if you ever end up reading my book and then you end up liking it, and then you want to know about how I came up with the idea of the story and stuff, you can come back to those videos and stuff. And I mean, I'm just making these videos for myself. I only have like 10 subscribers, so of course, I'm just making them for myself. Um, and also, just I feel like recording videos also um, like give me confidence. It makes me feel more confident, of course. um so that's another thing. So the last ever scene was when Sky fell down and in his dream Crow started talking. Now I feel like Crow should not be saying like Sky should not be saying what's your name. Instead, like it should be a more of a story. Like it should give us a deeper meaning of the story because Crow is right now in the spirit realm, and I feel like in the spirit realm, instead of thinking about people in the names, you start thinking about people by the energy that their spirit gives. Like let's say that you for example are right now a very happy person. Your spirit is going to be very colorful and maybe like it's going to give your vibes basically. So in the spirit realm he can only he feels Sky's vibes. And so what he does is that I feel like, see, I'm thinking about it, like I'm thinking about what the world of the story might bring and stuff, and it's really helping me build a story. Because like I was like, okay, every single day I'll write some pages down and stuff, and because I'm thinking about it already, with the videos and stuff, which I do enjoy making the videos, it makes me feel like I exist in a corner of the internet, and I mean that makes me feel good. So what was I saying? Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, the videos are making it easier for me to write. Like whenever I sit down to write the book, like the words just come out because I already know the vibe of the story. Um, I already am like, I'm not a stranger to the world of the story, the world that the story takes place in. Um, oh, I was just covering the mic up, so I don't know if you guys heard me there, but yeah, whatever. So, I feel like instead of referring to Sky, so first of all, I imagine that in the Sky's dream is basically like kind of a foggy area, like uh, they're in a forest and the soil is wet, and then there's just two stones, and Sky is like sitting on it, and Crow is sitting in front of him. they're both sitting on the two stones. And in that forest, it's like they're in a room, but like the walls of the room are made out of fog, is what it looks like. Like they're in a forest, and the place that they're on, the stones and stuff, the stones are clear, and their faces are clear, and then their environment is clear, but no further is clear. The other places are just fog, you know. So in there, Crow refers to Sky as the spirit of empathy. Sky is the spirit of empathy. That's what I called him. He's like, without his name, he would just be the spirit of a child that was very empathetic, you know. And Crow is just a spirit of a child, of a hardworking child, you know. So Crow also doesn't remember his name. He just refers to himself as the spirit of a hardworking child. So I would imagine that, you know, so Sky goes ahead and says, "What's your name? You know, who are you?" And then he responds with a very calm, "I'm the spirit of a hardworking child." And then Sky is very confused. Sky is like, "That doesn't give me any context. What are you doing in here?" But I would imagine that, you know, he can't really say it like this in front of looking at somebody's face, and then you're in a dream and it's all weird. He's probably shocked. He's just saying one sentence at a time. So he first said, "What's your name?" with a very scared voice. But Sky's eyes are locked into Crow's eyes, because he wants to be aware of what he's doing. You know, he wants to be aware of if this thing starts to attack him or something, like, because he has no idea what this is, you know. And after Crow says, "I'm the spirit of a hardworking child," Sky says, "What are you doing? Why are you here?" is what Sky says. And then Crow, now the thing is that only thing that Crow tried to do was to come to the school. And Crow also doesn't know how the school works and stuff. So what he does is that the first ever person that he saw, he thinks about that person as a teacher, because he's very desperate to teach her. But even he doesn't know the fact that there is literally no teacher in the school, you know. So he's like, he asks Sky, "How am I going to get out of this? How am I going to find peace?" is what he asked to Sky. And Sky is very confused, you know. Sky is like, "I don't know," you know. Sky just says, "I don't know," and that just upsets Crow, because Crow literally desperately came to the school, literally got out of his body as a spirit and ran into the school. And he knows that morning is about to come, which, wait a second, this is kind of confusing. It is already morning. It is already morning time, so how? Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter if I don't think the community that climbs the cliff really cares if it's like nighttime or morning time. They just rest whenever everybody's hands are tired, and then they wake up whenever everybody is feeling better. So I would imagine that the community just started sleeping in the, like, right now it's like the middle of the day, you know, the sun is up and stuff. The sun is up, but when I imagine the scene where where Sky basically falls down, I imagined it as a dark where like it looked like it was nighttime or something. Well, I don't know. I don't really know. I will imagine like Crow is panicked because he doesn't know what happens to the body when it like your spirit is out. He never experienced this, but just imagine how desperate he was to come to the school that his spirit literally got out of his body to come here, right? Is it nighttime? I'm also thinking, did they leave the sky there till the nighttime? Did they do that? Because you know how Sand said that you're not allowed to look for Sky. So Sky basically gets lost in there, and like it became nighttime. I don't know. Maybe it became nighttime. Yeah, let's imagine it became nighttime. I don't know how I'm going to fill out the things that happened before that, but it's nighttime. And Crow just says that, like, Crow just asks Sky, how how am I going to get out of this? How can I find peace? You know, how can my community find peace? Is what he asks, and Sky doesn't know. And because Sky doesn't know, like, Crow's hope shatters, and that's why Crow kind of, you know, loses his focus, and then his spirit immediately goes back to his body, and then Crow is just sleeping. He probably woke up for a second and then closed his eyes again to sleep, so that he's not, you know, he doesn't become sleepy while everybody's climbing in the morning. And Sky, I would imagine when Crow went away, Sky immediately wakes up, you know, and he's now again kind of panicked. He empathized with this thing, but he didn't know what the answer was, you know. Just being empathetic is very, very hard, you know. Just being empathetic, but you don't have any knowledge, you don't have anything, you know. In the book, the version of Sky in the book, what he starts the story with, like, his story starts with him being like literal, like, he has 9 brothers, and he basically works for all 9 of them, because all 9 of them figure out the fact that he is very empathetic, and so he literally listens to everything that they say, becoming their worker, you know, that doesn't even get paid. So that's the version of him there. So I would imagine that in here too, he's very empathetic, but he knows nothing, and that really confuses him, and that really puts him into stress. I would imagine that the best ever way to finish off this character's story would be if he started like if he became like a genius, if he started like studying a lot so that he can help a lot of people, because he's emphasizing with everybody, which means that the only thing that makes him super happy without confusing him would be to help a large amount of people. And so maybe he started helping a large amount of people by learning a lot of things, or by working with people, you know. Maybe that's how his story finished. I don't know. That's just one of the versions that it could have been finished. Now, while that's happening, we know that Cotton definitely lost his head in, like, lost his mind in one of the scenes, you know, in with Sand. He started hitting Sand continuously, and then Sand just put him on his seat. I would imagine that right now that everything chilled out, Cotton is very confused, you know. He's like just trying to control himself. He's like, let me not do any other mistake, because if I do it, like, I'm going to turn into a person I don't want to turn into, you know. And I don't want people to know me like this either, because if people know me like this, then I'm already turning into that person. So I'm also going to be like, yeah, I'm just that person, you know. Everybody also already knows, so there isn't anything holding me back anymore, you know? So everybody sits down. Void is very upset. Void doesn't know what Sky is going to do, and Cotton is very upset that he lost it literally in the first day. But he's like, it's literally Sand's fault, you know? It's literally his fault. And I mean, he doesn't even know Sand to be Sand. He knows Sand as fire. He's like, it's fire's fault, you know? He did all of this to me, you know? But Sand, as a teacher, Sand goes ahead and tells student, because you know, in the part 5, I said that Sand told everybody that he was going to be this teacher. I thought, you know what, I believe that as a teacher he would try to, he would be like, our lesson is called punishment, you know. Everybody's going to start hunting each other down until one of them basically stays like alive throughout the night, basically, you know. It's nighttime already. I don't know how it became nighttime. I don't know what they did throughout the day. I have no idea. Maybe Sand just let people talk a little bit. Oh yeah, okay. I thought about it. Sand said this. He was like, our lesson is called punishment. At night, when nobody can see anything, we're gonna go to the garden and we're gonna hunt each other down in that labyrinth where Sky was lost, you know. Which is crazy because he's basically playing with Void's emotions, because he told Void to not look for Sky, but he's also saying that you are going to be in that labyrinth, basically forcing Void to start looking, basically telling Void, I'm going to put you right next to him, but you're not allowed to look at him, is what he's saying. And probably Void is going to start looking for Sky and stuff, you know. And anybody who would care about people, like Angel, you know, is going to start looking for Sky. So now, after saying this, he lets people talk to each other. Void immediately goes to Angel because Void knows how kind Angel is. And also Angel, like in the book version, I basically thought about it and I made Angel Sky's mother. So Angel, in the book version, Angel is Sky's mother. So let's go with that. Angel is Sky's mother. Okay, so she goes to Angel and she goes to Whole Blue Sky. Whole Blue Sky says that now Void says like, you should help us help trying to find Sky, and then he basically says, well, Sky should learn himself, you know. Sky should definitely learn by himself what life brings, what life is all about. And but Void says, so do you agree with Sand? Like, I mean, you don't agree with Sky, but like, you don't agree with the fact that we should like find Sand. You don't want to find Sand, but do you agree with no, you don't want to find Sky, but do you agree with Sand, aka Fire? Do you agree with Fire? You know, I feel like Whole Blue Sky, like the whole thing of him watching to people, watching the whole forest, but not trying to stop any bad thing from happening, and not trying to, you know, engage with anything. I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, cause yeah, I mean, the nature has its ways, and probably you should like trust the process in life and stuff. But I feel like he's taking it to the next level. But he says that, you know, he says that he doesn't agree with Sand, but I don't wanna get in the way of anything, you know. And it's funny that he's saying that because he's trying to get in the way of hell, like he's trying to get in the way of Cotton, right? So it's weird. It's weird what he's trying to get in the way of and what he's not trying to get in the way of. So I feel like the reason why he said also this is so that he can stay and keep sitting down right next to Cotton, because Cotton is right now looking at a distance and just thinking to himself, and whole Blue Sky is seeing that. And whole Blue Sky, I don't know, like he's trying to interfere with him, but I feel like it's the first ever time that he started interfering with something. So he's like, how do I even start interfering with something? He doesn't know how to do it. So he says that he doesn't want to help with that, maybe because also so that like he can stay with Cotton throughout the game too. So there's two types of people in the school, in the classroom right now. One is the type that is going to secretly start to try and find Sky, and then the other is the one that like is okay with fighting. Cotton seems to be okay with fighting, because Cotton lost it. He lost it completely, and I'm saying that for fun, but like I feel like he just had a crash out, but I don't think that changed his personality. But I feel like he himself is scared that it changed his personality. He is like, am I turning into a bad person? Because he was already very confused when Sand made that statement in the lunchroom, So he is kind of scared of that. But Cotton, I feel like, is going to agree to fight because he is like, let me think. I feel like the whole reason why he wants to fight is because he wants to kill Sand. He wants to definitely like get rid of Sand and stuff. But the fact that Sand literally let people to actually kill people, because he literally said like, either you gotta injure them so that they can't come back to the start point, or you gotta do whatever you gotta do to stop them from coming to the winning space, which I would imagine the winning space is probably the starting point, which is the start of the labyrinth. So they're going to be lost in a labyrinth, plus they're going to be like hunted down by each other. So how are they going to find themselves ways back to the start of the labyrinth? I don't know. Sand just said it, and now it's the rule for some reason, and everybody's agreeing with it for some reason. Nobody in here is saying to the Sand that, maybe we understood the coal wrong. Maybe the piece of coal was not really saying this, like they're all agreeing with Sand. So, I also decided to call this episode Judgment. And the reason why I chose this name is because I feel like, we kept questioning whether, how we made a question about if you saw a serial killer, would you kill him? And I feel like the reason why we keep coming back to that question with Cotton and with Sand made me name this episode Judgment. And no, not Judgment. What is it called? Punishment. And now that they're gonna hunt each other, and he called the lesson punishment. I don't know why I keep mixing those words up. Whatever. Punishment is the episode name. Okay, so okay, so Void comes to Angel. Angel definitely agrees. Whole Blue Sky does not agree with them. We have Soul. Now, Void's first ever emotional moment, which came very quickly. I feel like she's like very, confident in herself and stuff, but still not experiencing life kind of makes her weaker. But she likes to look in. She looks very confident, which she is. I feel like that gives her an advantage. But not knowing life gives her a disadvantage. Like, for example, if somebody told her something bad, she could immediately give an answer. But inside of her, she would still um, be like, that was an interesting feeling, you know? So Void tries to convince Soul, and she says, "Are you gonna try to look for Sky with us?" Now I feel like Soul understands the importance of the living things. You know, she understands that if one thing is dying, their whole advantage of living basically goes to waste. I would understand, like, I would know that. I mean, let me think. Um, in if you gave her two chances, one of them is fight and the other one is help, which one would she choose? I mean, she thinks like a plant and an animal. If you gave the chance to help your owner, like, you know, in cats, let's think in cats. If a cat had the chance to fight with somebody for no goddamn reason, and she also had a chance to help something, which one would choose? Wouldn't even understand the concept of helping. I did see mother animals try to help the baby animals, and she is like, I don't know how old she is, but she was a creation that was supposed to go to the humanity right now. And if she was supposed to go to humanity right now, no, I remember I said that she was like very, very old, you know? She's made out of very, very old things. I would imagine she's just dirt, and inside of her, like in her heart place, there's just this one plant. That's what I imagine her as a very old plant. In fact, it's like not even green, like it's just a seed, and a very old seed. It's like rock solid hard, and other than that it's just all dirt. She has a ceramic, like the ceramic doesn't shine, you know. It's the ceramic that I'm talking about, like, you know, when you see ancient, like, ancient bottles and stuff, ancient jugs, um those are ancient jars and stuff, those are made out of ceramic that I'm talking about. The ceramic that doesn't shine, but it's like beige color or like brown color and stuff. So her face is made out of that, but it doesn't appear like that. It just appears as a human face, because it's really sculpted well, you know. But she doesn't have any. Her face doesn't move at all, you know. So, okay, Void asks her, "Do you want to help us?" I would imagine that even an animal or even a plant, would understand that violence for no reason is definitely crazier than helping somebody who is who needs help, you know. So I would imagine she says yes. She says, I feel like Void would try to describe it to her in the most basic ways, because Void's like, you know, the way that she hugged Void and stuff just told the Void to that this was not a full human. In fact, this was not a human at all. So Void went ahead and said, would you rather try to kill the students, or would you help Sky? You know, which one would you choose? And then she says, I would help Sky, you know. Yeah, also I feel like plants and animals, they have an understanding of what who is dangerous and who is not dangerous. And I feel like that's why Soul kind of could feel how naive Sky really is, and that's why she says, I would rather help Sky. We also have Time. Now, Time, I would imagine Time is very scared, and I would imagine Time is trying to be with somebody that can protect him and stuff. Who can protect themselves the most? Let me think. Void is not what do we have? Rose definitely cannot protect herself. Oh wait, Rose, after that, Rose would also say, I would rather help Sky. Oh wait, literally everybody is going to try to help Sky then. Oh, the only one killing is going to be Sen then. That's so violent. That's so wild, because Sen is like the most powerful one out of all of them, Okay. Time is going to also say, I will also look for Sky, because he wants to be in the team that he said, I will look for Sky, but only if there's somebody who can, only if, everybody's going to split into two whenever they see different paths. He says that I don't want to be alone in any of the process, but I will help Sky. Oh, the only one who would be Shadow will go to wherever Rose is going, and Rose is definitely gonna help Sky. Okay, so Void is helping Sky, Rose is helping Sky, Shadows is helping Sky, Time is definitely also helping Sky. Because Time is also not a bad person. He's just, the only thing about him is that he likes to make jokes and stuff. And that's it. He just makes jokes about people, But he's a full human. Angel is definitely gonna help Sky. The only person who ended up saying that he doesn't want to help Sky ended up becoming Sky's father, who is Whole Blue Sky. Right? And that's very crazy. So wait a second, Whole Blue Sky, if he's not going to help Sky, then what is he going to do? He says that he doesn't wanna fight, nor does he wanna help Sky. I feel like the reason why he says that is because he's not used to getting into the ways of anything. He doesn't get in the way of anything, and because of that he chooses to do nothing instead of choosing one thing. So Sand starts the thing. We cut to a scene in front of the labyrinth. We have Void, we have Rose, we have Shadows, we have, oh wait, Cotton. We didn't talk about Cotton. Cotton wants to fight. Oh yeah, Cotton is the only person who wants to fight. Whole Blue Sky is the one who doesn't want to do anything. Other than that, everybody is going to try to secretly look for Sky, Now Sand is also participating. Sand is also going to fight, definitely. He's trying to do this as a way to entertain himself, and he also wants to see other people do violent things too. He wants to see that. But because he's not going to be able to see that, he's going to be very upset, probably. So they start in the beginning, and then they start walking. They're supposed to walk, and then after everybody splits, Sand screams in the top of his lungs, start, and everybody hears the word start. Now when he says start, Shadows is very scared, because Shadows doesn't want to be in the same room as Sand, but Rose and Shadow, they start walking. Rose, Shadow, and wait a second, let me bring the notebook to see the people's names so that I don't forget anyone.